You're listening to the One Man Show Network. Welcome to the MMA Fight Picks Podcast with your host, Aaron Weinbaum.
Hey kids, welcome to the MMA Fight Picks Podcast. I am your host, Aaron Weinbaum. Today we're going to pick the fights for UFC Auckland. Felder versus Hooker could very well mean some elite status in the lightweight division. Before we get into that, interesting fight night last weekend in Houston, Texas. Oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't Houston last week. It was, Albuquerque, New Mexico, where we saw Jan Blachowicz probably emerge as the light heavyweight contender at the 205-pound division. Really cool to see. And, of course, it's always a big day for me when Al Iaquinta is on the Ariel Helwani MMA podcast. So you need to check out the Iaquinta Realty account as well as the Iaquinta Real account, the Al Iaquinta account, because, you know, he subvertently called out Dustin Poirier. May happen. It didn't look like it would, but, there could be some legs there. I'd like to see it happen in Brooklyn. I'd like to see somebody get me some tickets in Brooklyn. Yeah, I will travel to see that in April. It's right around my birthday. Maybe afterwards, Al and I can trash a hotel room to celebrate his win. So anyway, before we pick fights, if you're on the Periscope, feel free to say hi, YouTube, whatever. Pick some fights with me. First up, Loma. This is going to be a real name contest for me today. And this is one of those ones where the prelims look better than the actual event. But we'll see. Okay, I'm going to try this again. Loma Lookboonmee against Angela Hill. And this is important because Angela Hill just fought a month ago. It's crazy. She did win. But yeah, man, Hannah Cyphers, January 25th. So here we are. It's right at a month, I guess, whenever 20-something. And Langley, what's up, man? How did you find me? Langley, you're 4 hours from Brooklyn? It's not really ideal, but come down and hang out. Let's go to the UFC together, man. James Langley, old college buddy of mine. Thanks for watching, buddy. Anyway, Angela Hill, Loma. I'm just going to call her Loma. Her name was Loma. Okay, enough of that. All right, she did just fight October last year. Alexandra Albu, a split decision. Before that, a decision against Monique Adrian, but that's back in Invicta. But Angela Hill, kind of on a hot streak here. 2 wins in a row. Hannah Cyphers, Ariana Carnesalali, a doctor stoppage. Before that, she lost to somebody on this card, unanimous decision. Jan. Okay, I'm going to try to say this here because I'm going to do something different. I'm trying to get these names right, okay? So let's see what Jan said. Let's see how you say her last name because she's on this card as well, okay? I'm gonna look it up. Can't be bothered saying what's your pick for the Brad Riddell fight. I don't know. I'm not picking that one, bud. What's your pick? This is Jack on the Periscope here. I didn't even know that was a fight. Jack. That's funny. Anyway, let's see what the proper pronunciation for this name is, okay? It's Jan. Are you ready? I got it pulled up. Jan. Come on.
Shonen.
All right, let's see. Try it again. Let's try this in Chinese.
Shonen.
Shaman. I'm going to say shaman, okay? We're going to keep it at that. Jan Shaman, okay? That's what it said on the internet. That's what I'm sticking to. Anyway, before that, back to Angela Hill beats Jody Escobar. All right, I think, this is a strength of schedule type thing. I like Angela Hill. I don't know if I like the quick turnaround. I don't know how it takes for her to get down to straw weight. But, she's an athletic gal. I think she's been training hard. And she has taken short notice fights before and done well, including when she was in Invicta and came back over to the UFC. So I'm going to go Angela Hill on this one. All right. Kay Kara France. Uh-oh. I am missing something here. All right. We're going to look this up anyway here. All right. Kay Kara France against Tyson Nam. All right. Let's do Tyson Nam here. All right. Tyson Nam first. Whoop. How about that? I am trying to do something a little different here. I think I was clogging up my computer before. Oh, man. Well, I don't think I'm doing much better on the old iPad, but I'm trying. This is what live stream is all about, kids. All right, help me pick fights here. Thank you for everyone watching here on Periscope, YouTube, and Facebook. All right, Tyson Nam. I mean, what world are we in that professional fighters were born in 1983 and that's considered old? That's crazy. That's almost 40 years old. So just lost to Sergio Pettis back in September. You know, Sergio Pettis on a win goes to Bellator, which is odd because usually Bellator likes to take guys on a loss. So it is what it is. Before that, a win against Shojin Miki, Donald Gonzalez. Okay, none of these guys are in the UFC. Of course, they are in X1, I believe. And we're looking at Kai Kara France. Just lost to Brandon Moreno. I did remember picking this fight. I picked Brandon to win. I like that. Yeah, I don't know. And back to the Brad Riddell fight, Jack. Sorry, man. I think this guy's fighting for a Twitter check mark and a Wikipedia page. So sorry. Before that, though, a bunch of wins in a row against UFC guys, too. Mark De La Rosa, Raulian Paiva, Elias Garcia. Man, you know, I like the UFC experience here. Tyson Nam, though, it's a name I've heard for a while, and he has been, you know, he's been kind of around for a long time, just not so much in the UFC, but I like Kai Kara France's UFC experience, yeah, and I think he's going to do all right there. All right, next up, Jake Matthews, Emil Weber, Meek. I'm sorry, Emil Meek. I didn't think that sounded right. All right, Emil Meek, you may know on the independent circuit. I believe he is the man who took out Rusamir Palhares, the leg lock guy. You know, nobody liked calling that guy because he'd put you on hold and never let you go. But anyway, man, you know, he came in to the UFC with all the hype of beating Rusamir Palhares, and then comes in, beats Jordan Main right off the bat, coming into the UFC, loses to Usman. You know, at the time, that was January 2018. It seems, you know, maybe not everyone knew Usman was going to be Usman back then, and then loses again to unanimous decision to Bartosz Fabinski. Man, this is a real tongue twister. But then you got Jake Matthews, just beat Rostam Akhman, decision, UFC 243, loses to Anthony Rocco Martin. You know, you can might remember him fighting Damian Maia a little way back when. Wins against Shinzo Anzai, Li Jingliang. Man, this one's tough too, but you know, Emil hasn't been the most active in the world. I'd like to think he was getting healed up and whatnot. You know, beating Jordan Main's a big deal. Beating Palhares is not a big deal as it used to be. But, oh man, you know, this one is a bit tough. And if you're watching on the Twitter and the YouTube, feel free to help a guy out. But in the end, I think I'm gonna go with Meek on this one. I expected bigger things for him when he joined the UFC. I was one of those guys that was watching him early on, especially during the Palhares upset and whatnot. And I think he's got a good shot here, and I'm going to go with him. All right, Carolina Kolowashowitz. Oh man, this is a tongue twist. This is why I'm not a real reporter. And let's look at Jan's name one more time. Okay, let's do it. Jan, come on, say it. What is it? Schwamen. Well, let's see this one. Let's see the. All right, let's see the Mandarin pronunciation.
Shonen.
Shaman. Okay, Jan Shaman. Okay, against Carolina. All right, Jan Shaman has nothing but wins. Okay. Gosh, when was the last time she lost? Okay, 2010. That was a big deal. And then she did come in, and I thought it was a bit of an upset against Angela Hill. Apparently, the odds makers didn't think that, but I did. Now, let's look at Carolina. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Ah, man, a lot of red there. Alexa Grasso, Michelle Watterson, Jessica Andrade. You know, these are the tops in her division. Before that, though, she has a nice win for Felice Herrig, Jody Escabel. But, you know, we're back down to losses again against Claudia, Joanna. But, you know, strangely enough, which you may not know about her, she has a win over Rose Namajunas back in 2016. So that's pretty darn interesting there. But, you know, I got to go with the win streak here. I think Jan
Zionen
has a real good shot here. So we shall see. I like her to win this fight. You know, it's a big deal for me. She did beat Angela Hill, who's been kind of on a hot streak lately. So we'll see. All right. Jimmy Crute against. All right, we got another one here. Michael, help me out here. Michael.
Alexei Jizicek.
Alexei Jizicek. All right. So from now on, instead of Alexei Jizicek, I'm just going to say Michael, okay? Jimmy Crute against Alexei Jizicek. Okay. Let's take a look at Jimmy Crute here. Last match out, the Peruvian necktie loss against Mishka Serkinov. But before that, man, lots of wins. Sam Alley, Smiling Sam. That was a kind of a strange one. I thought that was a short, it was an early stoppage, but it is what it is. I think Sam Alley did too. First time I didn't see him smile ever. Wins over Paul Craig, Chris Birchler, Du Hwan Kim. You know, a lot of these are not in the UFC. Let's take a look at Michelle. Just lost to OSP against Vivon Prue choke. I mean, guys, you know what's going to happen if you put your head in there, but it is what it is. Before that, he's got a couple of more wins. One even against John Vellante. No contest against Khalil Rountree Jr. It was overturned due to I believe an USADA issue. But yeah, he tested positive for some performance enhancing drugs. This is hard to pick. Man, you know, early stoppage against the Sam Alvey fight, but I thought he kind of had it anyway. Excuse me, live stream steez there. But I like Jimmy Crute. I like the string of wins he put together. Minus his last fight, you know, he hasn't lost ever. So I like it here. I'm gonna go. Go Jimmy Crute. All right, next up, the main event of the evening. Paul Felder, Dan Hooker. Exciting fight here. I like both these guys. You know, Dan Hooker really, I don't know how this guy ever cut down to 145 pounds, but he did by some miracle. He looked huge at 155 pounds. He looked big against Ally Quinta. You know, kind of exposing what Al can do against those bigger, lankier guys. And I'm sure Al's working on that, and he'll be back. And if there was ever a rematch, Al would foreclose for sure. But let's take a look here. His last loss was Edson Barbosa back in 2018, but Hooker's got wins, man. Ally Quinta, James Vick, Gilbert Burns, Jim Miller, Ross Pearson way back when, 2017. Really has more wins than losses. That Edson fight, body punch. I remember that fight. I remember thinking, ugh. Paul Felder on quite a tear lately. He did win that split decision against Edson Barbosa in a rematch. I didn't think that was really a win. But it is what it is. He got the W. James Vick, a decision. Let me tell you something about this James Vick decision, okay? This was a James Vick decision where Paul's lung was collapsed and he kept fighting, and kind of crazy to think about that now. He does have a loss against Mike Perry, but he took that like on short notice at welterweight. I mean, he's not the biggest guy, but had he not been training as a lightweight, when he put on some weight, I think I would have liked him in that fight, but he fought with a broken arm, man. Perry broke his arm in there somewhere. He has a win against Charles Oliveira, who is really on the rise to be the next big thing. Stevie Ray, okay? So really that last loss was at welterweight. Before that, his last true lightweight loss, that was 2016. But Hooker, man, what a list. Al Iaquinta, James Vick, Gilbert Burns, Jim Miller. This is really hard to pick, but I tend to think that as much as I like Paul Felder, he's a great personality, he's got a great story, I think that Dan Hooker's the more dynamic guy here. And in the end, Dan Hooker's probably going to get the W. He's going to be in that top 4 or 5 in the lightweight division after this fight. And that's it. We did it. We picked for UFC Auckland. I'll be watching the fights. Look for the live tweets on the Iaquinta account, the Dana Unleashed account, probably not the Coker account. And until next time, this is Aaron Weinbaum with the MMA Fight Picks podcast. Thanks for joining along. The couple of comments that I had there, and shalom.
Please remember to support the podcast by visiting the affiliate links on AaronSaysWhat.com.